The next presentation would be by Alexander Govorov from the Moscow State University of Geodesy and Cartography, and he will share his unique experience of teaching students the basics of photogrammetry.
Hello, my name is Alexander Govorov. I work at the chair of photogrammetry of Moscow State University of Geodesy and Cartography. Let me use my presentation. Yes. Thank you. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to organizing committee of this conference, to LLC Triumph, and to all who is concerned to the conference, and for giving me the floor. This conference is a significant event in the world of 3D modeling, especially in publishing of the 3D models. As I told, I work at the chair of photogrammetry. And what is photogrammetry? Photogrammetry is the art, science, and technology of obtaining reliable information of objects, and so on and so forth. You can read it by yourself. I would like to emphasize that the first definition is the art, and the second is science and technology. It means that to be a good photogrammetrist and to achieve good results from photogrammetry, you should be a little bit an artist. Photogrammetry was invented approximately 150 years ago. On this slide you can see one of the ancient photogrammetric device named multiplex. At this picture you can see the model. Where is the laser? Laser. No laser. On the screen. So this is the model. The model are constructed by intersection of the projection rays from projectors. And we can see that the model and 3D model, you see, it's a space model, is the key thing in photogrammetry at all. And that's why I'm here now. I worked as a high school teacher for more than 25 years, and I had an idea to show students basic of photogrammetry by means of computer. And this idea appeared in my mind in early 90s. A lot of work was fulfilled in attempts to make a good presentation, to good visualization for photogrammetry, but just a few years ago, I found a Blender and I found Blend4Web, and I decided that it's a more convenient way to teach photogrammetry, and of course you know famous person in Blender, Sebastian Koenig, who made a tutorial track match blend, and part 6 of his tutorial is named Photogrammetry. If we start the Blender, if we start with the Blender, we can see the default object and location of the object, rotation. It is the same as so-called elements of orientation in photogrammetry. Just Blender, it's a convenient tool to illustrate basics of photogrammetry. For instance, we can move object and we can see the changing in the Z position, Z coordinate, and for instance we can change angle, orientation, and so on and so forth. Oh, it's working. And the basics of photogrammetry can be shown in a good way by means of Blender coordinate system, the meanings of the orientation parameters, and so on and so forth, photographs. For instance, we can ordinary aerial photo without any tools can be viewed. We can move, and that's all. But if we go to Blender, for instance, aerial photo, Blender and Blend4Web, it's the same photo, but it's represented in more convenient way, and we can see here. This is the focal length. And this is a projection ray for one point. Actually, each point of the photo have their own projection ray, and all projection rays, and the name of the all projection rays is bundle of rays. Photogrammetry full of the formula, full of this drawings, but the drawings are flat. The objects that are drawn are three-dimensional, but drawings are flat, and this is a problem for teaching. It's difficult to explain, and I was interested in how to show the live photo. This is formula of the photogrammetric tasks, and this is data, and this is the matrices, and this is a solution. To tell the truth, the Blender contains elements of photogrammetry. It is obvious from the video from Sebastian Koenig. The photogrammetric devices was for many years without any computers, and to understand how the mechanisms are working, it was very complicated for students. Nowadays, typical workflow of photogrammetry starts from visual SFM. It's for example CMP, MVS, and the Mesh Lab, and after that the model, three-dimensional model, are working on Blender, and after Blender we can publish with Blend4Web, and it was very it's very important that nowadays we can use the stereo interface. It works on an anaglyph glasses, red and blue, and of course on virtual reality, but the price of the virtual reality glasses are very high nowadays. What I intended to show you else is the model of the cube. This is this model was created in Blender, and the photographic image was obtained by computational photography. This is high precision, high definition image, which is on the cube, and it works very effectively. Yes. So, what's in the future? I see that a set of photogrammetric training tools should be developed in order to illustrate basic photogrammetric processes And of course, it should be animated. In this, I would like to see that the demo island with airplane flying on the island is very good for simulating process of aerial photography. So the Blend4Web, Blender, Blend4Web have very good future, and I think it will be developed, and it will bring to the educational process many new useful things. So that's all. Any question?
So questions? Maybe we have lots of guys who already are in photogrammetry. Maybe you can ask something? Online questions? Not yet. So maybe then I'll ask some question. Alexander.
Do you plan to study JavaScript and teach your students to do programming?
I'm not a teacher of programming. I'm teacher of photogrammetry. Of course, I think nowadays every have to know modern programming languages. But I don't know. It's my meaning, but not all students are have the same things, the same thing, the same meaning, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I will be, I'll do my best to teach students. I think Blender and Blend4Web is a good choice, and maybe JavaScript if it is will be obligatory.
Thank you. Some other questions?
I have a question. You mentioned that our island demo with a plane flying over island is very useful for you to illustrate aerial photography. So could you please explain more about this? So how can you illustrate this? So you have to update it, or
Of course, it should be updated, and a special camera should be installed on the plane, and it should take photographs from time to time, and after that, these photographs will be passed to photogrammetric software, and this process will be useful for students because all students will do their own plan to fly. And they all plan to take photograph and to deal with them.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Maybe some other questions? Well, Alexander, is it really more convenient way for students to, get information in that way? So, does this really give you a profit? Do you notice that they really understand it better? So, is it kind of a good solution? So,
Yes.
some results maybe.
Yes. Actually, we have the so-called hobby group, or this group of the students who wants to learn more deep photogrammetry in a more deep way, and I showed the Blender and Blend4Web, and they was very impressed by the possibility to build model and to publish it through internet. I think this will be very useful.
I have another question. Are you planning to include Blender and Blend4Web into official course of a university?
As to me, I want, but not all things are up to me. We have the dean, the rector.
Yes, yes.
And actually, our university held the educational process on 3D modeling.
Okay.
And I asked students on which program, and the answer was 3D Max. And
Yes.
I'm trying to show them another way to go to 3D world.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Please. Do we have questions online? No. Okay, thank you, Alexander. Thank you for coming. Thank you.